Morning, everyone. As you take your seats, I'm going to have Athena in our sound room play our 8 Principles video.
The Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola, the 8 Principles.
Number 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
Number 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relation.
Number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation.
Number 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
Number 5, the right of conscience and the use of democratic process within our congregation and in society at large.
Number 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
Number 7, respect for the interdependent web of existence,
of which we are all a part.
Number 8, active commitment to dismantle racism and other oppression in ourselves and our institutions.
Good morning. Hi. My name is Mary Beth. My pronouns are she and her, and I will be your service leader for today. As we begin, quick reminder, friendly reminder, but please silence your cell phones. It happens almost every Sunday, so I'm telling you now, if it goes off, no, I won't. But let's just cut them off. Thank you. Whether you are a longtime member or a first-time visitor or tuning in online, thank you. We are really glad you're here today. And if you are new, just a little bit about us, we are a lay-led congregation, which basically means our services are shaped by folks from all kinds of different walks. Church members, dear friends, occasional guest speakers from the local community and or abroad, and they share their stories and insights with us. It is one of my favorite parts about this church, just hearing different voices and different perspectives each week brings new energy and reflections that speak to all kinds of life experiences. So really cool thing about that, our church. If you want to stay connected, for those of you who are new or have been here and just don't get the emails, you can sign up. We have guest information cards on the credenza. Hopefully you were greeted by one of our greeters and they gave you a pamphlet and a guest information card, but if not, you can pick one up on your way out. You can also go to our website, uupensacola.org, and that has everything you need to know about us as a community, as a people, and then as a faith, a general UU faith. There it is, uupensacola.org. And then if you are new, and this is your first time, you're especially lucky because today is Sunday Sweets. And we have a little note from them. Happy fall, y'all. Thank you for giving us a summer break. Now we are back, so come have some cake.
All right.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Okay, so if you are new, please let us know at the table back there in the lobby, and you get a free pie, a piece, a free chunk, a free slice, whatever. So let us know. And if you have been here, hopefully you brought your money, but if not, we take check or IOUs or Venmo, whatever. We'll figure it out. So. Yes, We'll take your time, talent, and treasure, too. So, anyway, so you're in luck. It's a great day, Sunday Sweets. Just after service, we'll have our closing words, some music, and then make your way to the lobby for that. And also in our conference room, as we do every Sunday, we have sweets and treats and coffee and water and stuff. So you can grab some coffee and then get you some cake after that. Okay, I think that's good for that, and we don't have too many announcements other than Sunday Sweets. And then once you do that, grab your treats. Maybe like 15-ish minutes after the service, we have our out-of-box service, which is a thing that's led by Claire Helton. So if you have any questions on that, let us know, but we do that every Sunday, or every month, and just a great way to express feelings and connect, and anyway, so that's Claire over there on the side. If you have questions, see her. So yeah, get some sweet treats, coffee, and then that'll be in the library, just by the lobby. And then Speak Truth to Power is my final announcement. And they've been going on for a while. There's a lot of info, so if you have questions, let me know. But the last one, it looks like, is the Escambia County School Board. That's where it's going to be. And it's Tuesday the 16th. Is that this?
Yeah.
Tuesday? Yes. Okay, thanks. And then, it looks like there's some more. But anyway, so Speak Truth to Power at public forums. So will you speak out, join the Speak the Truth Power campaign, and that's organized by the 50501 Pensacola, Florida. So again, lots of details. If you have questions about it, see me afterwards, and you can check this out. Okay, quick for announcements. It's weird. I feel incomplete. Yeah, and yeah. Thanks, Hollywood. Okay. So, we're going to get into our chalice lighting, but real quick, let me just have you turn to your neighbor, whichever side you want to choose, and just say, hey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.
Okay. Okay. So this is something we do every Sunday here at the UU Church. It is a chalice lighting. We are Unitarian Universalists with minds to think, hearts that love, and hands that are ready to serve. Together we care for our earth, and we work for friendship and peace in our world. Thank you, Joe. And then we have a special candle that we would like to light today. For those of you who aren't aware, May O'Shea passed away last Sunday. Yeah, so she's been a long-time member here. I'm not even sure how long, but a very long time. Really special to our community. So if you guys will send positive thoughts and prayers and good vibes to the family, we'd really appreciate it. And we'll let everybody know the details of her memorial service and things like that as we get that from the family. But let's just take a quick minute to remember May. Thanks. I'm going to have Joe come up and read some opening words, and it's actually a group effort. If you would mind getting out the gray hymnal, it's just underneath your chair or in front of one of the chairs. If you reach underneath your chair, it should be there. And it's in the very back, it's number 650. So it's a responsive reading. Joe will read the bold, and the congregation will read the italicized. And if you're willing and able to stand, should we wait? We'll wait till after.
All right. 650, cherish your doubts. Cherish your doubts, for doubt is the attendant of truth.
Doubt is the key to the door of knowledge. It is the servant of discovery.
A belief which may not be questioned binds us to error, for there is incompleteness and imperfection in every belief. Let no one fear for the truth, that doubt may consume it, for doubt is a testing of belief.
The truth stands boldly and unafraid. It is not shaken by the testing.
For truth, if it be truth, arises from each testing stronger, more secure.
Though
But those who fear not doubt and know its use are founded on rock. Therefore, let us not fear doubt, but let us rejoice in its help. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to stand now, and if you want to keep this book out, we're going to turn to number 318 and sing our opening song, We Would Be One. So yeah, if you're willing and able, we'll have the choir come and you can stand and sing with us. 318. If you'll remain standing, and we'll say our covenant together, which will be up here. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, choir. This next part of our service is something just for here, today, us. It's our joys and sorrows time. This is a time that we can share things of joy, things to celebrate, things to brag about, also things that you may want us to help mourn with you, to love you and to support you. So if you have something that you'd like to share, again, it's just for here in this community today. It's not going to be online on the recording. So if you want to line up on either side, give us your name and then briefly what you would like to share with us. We'll light a candle for that. And again, we'll celebrate or mourn with you. And I'll have Joe light a candle, this first one, just as an overall thing, because there just aren't enough candles to light for all the things going on in the world. But this is going to be that big fat candle that represents all the things that we just don't have time to say today. But that is representative of that. And then, yeah. Well, while they're getting seated, should we sing the children out? Are we ready, Honor? Hit it! I'm just kidding. Go now in peace. Go now in joy. May the Spirit of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Thank you. Well done, everyone. All right. Offertory. We got to have it. Every church has it. But ours is solely member funded. Our church is solely member funded. So that means if you can give time, talent, or treasure, we will take all of the above. But at this time, we're going to have some greeters come up and take any treasure you may want to give. You can put it in the basket. I think there's a text number. You can give us a check, or you can do what I think 95% of us does, and we do an online thing. So if you have questions about that, you can check out our website, and want to give online, you can do that. But yeah, we'll have the greeters come up, and then is the choir coming, or just the band? Choir, come on up. We have an original song. It's going to be on here. I'm going to leave the offertory slide here just for a minute. And then when we get started, we'll change the slide. And it's a pretty simple song that our very own Maggie wrote and Mike. So, Mike, you'll teach it to us, won't you?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just basically like 6 words. Deeper dig, dig. We sing that a few times, and we say, we'll find it. And then deeper dig, 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 dig. In fact, we say that a few times. And some meaning. And it's inspired by the presentation, as usual.
Thank you, choir. And we're very blessed to have such lovely musicians, so much talent. And we have some, well, yeah, of course. Well, it's my privilege to announce our speaker today. I think you may know him, Joe Vinson. I mean, he's a local celebrity around the community, so you've probably seen his face everywhere, but he's definitely a big deal here at our church, and we'd probably be lost without him. Right? Yeah, I think so. So anyway, Joe's going to give us a lovely presentation today. Please help me welcome him.
Hi, everyone. Joe Vinson, he, him. Good to be here. Today I'm going to be talking about the Pensacola tunnels. Let me turn this mirror so I can kind of check the slides here. A mythical network of passageways that some claim run underneath Pensacola. Depending on who you ask, these tunnels might connect old houses and forts in downtown Pensacola, or maybe they run underneath Pensacola Bay between Forts Barrancas and Pickens, or maybe all of the above. The source for these tunnels is generally, I heard about it from an old timer. I kind of remember something about that when I was a kid. Back then, everybody knew about them and used them. But something happened, and now they're lost. It's enough of a running joke that on the Pensacola subreddit, if you mention anything about tunnels, a bot will auto-respond saying that the comment was removed for breaking Rule X, no talking about the tunnels in public. In 2022, the YouTube channel called Mine Unveiled, which has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, released a video called Pensacola Unveiled, Secret Tunnels Under Palafox and Bay, Giant Star Fort, the King of Pensacola. Mind Unveiled is a duo who go by the pseudonyms Soul and Moon. Soul, who grew up in Pensacola, is the main narrator, but I'm going to refer to the channel collectively as they. When the Pensacola video was first released, people sent it to me asking what I thought about it as a Pensacola historian. I tried several times to get through the whole thing. It's over 5 hours long, by the way. But it is, I'm sorry to say, a real slog. To be honest, I only made it through the whole way while I was preparing for this service. And I cannot recommend it for either historical or entertainment value. The video has more than 430,000 views. I assume only a fraction of those people made it all the way to the end. YouTube counts anything more than 30 seconds as a view. But it's clearly very popular, and I think it provides a useful insight into why conspiracy theories are attractive, which has a lot of relevance to the world today. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you are pressed for time, here is my TLDR response to the Mind Unveiled video on the question of Pensacola tunnels. Are there tunnels under Pensacola? Short answer, no. Longer answer, it depends on what you mean by tunnels. If you mean sewers and drain pipes, then yes. But these are not used for traveling either by humans or by Ninja Turtles. If you mean arched passages in a single structure, like Forts Barrancas and Pickens, then yes. It's easy to imagine how a childhood memory of visiting someplace like this could Mandela effect itself into a tunnel over time. Otherwise, no. There is not a network of tunnels running under our feet. That is my conclusion as someone who is pretty familiar with Pensacola history based on all the evidence I have seen. Now, I have not read this, but there is a recently published book called The Tunnels of Pensacola, Fact, Folklore, and the History Beneath the City, in which author T.J. Allen seems to reach the same conclusion. Quote, that the legends, while enchanting, were often just that, legends. I understand that T.S. Strickland from WUWF, who is here this morning, is working on a podcast on the subject, and I can't wait to listen to it. If there is ever compelling evidence that supports the claims of tunnels, I would love to know about it. Like Fox Mulder's poster says, I want to believe. I'm not going to go through the 5-hour video point by point trying to debunk it, everything they say, as it would take way too long, and I already resent how much time and mental energy I have devoted to this topic. As Brandolini's law states, the amount of energy needed to refute BS is an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it. But I will address some of the broader flaws before I get to the, frankly, wacky conspiracy at the heart of it. So, the first half of this video, and this is not my writing, this is from the video. The first half of this video goes into all sorts of weird tangents. Some of it is pretty standard conspiracy fodder, Freemasonry, Jesuits, Rosicrucians. There's some weird race science stuff about black Huguenots and Moors and Sephardic Jews. And in my experience, it's generally not great when conspiracy theorists start talking about the Jews. And there's a ton of just like pointing out things they think are weird coincidences, whether it's a possible hidden meaning behind someone's name or some obscure piece of symbolism.
I mean, that's kind of weird. Sure. But of course, only the chimneys survive? That's kind of weird. I don't buy that at all. That's kind of weird. Maybe it's a symbol. Gajava? means one who is silenced, and it's kind of weird, right? His name is Appleyard, possibly the consuming of knowledge. And what do you know? In the museum, you can see the Knights of Malta symbol right here on the ship. Very suspicious if you ask me.
They seem really focused on what they call old world buildings, when they were built and whether or not there are any construction photos for reasons that I will explain later. And when they finally get to the investigation for the tunnels, sorry, I missed a part. This is the rhetorical equivalent of holding a flashlight under your face and going, ooh. During a trip to the Pensacola Museum of History, they go exhibit by exhibit, casting doubt on everything and disparaging the historians and researchers who work there, which is this next clip.
Why would I believe a word of what these UWF historians say? Critical thinking died in the colleges a long time ago. You mean the fact that everything about this place is a lie? And the people teaching it are asleep and have no capability to truly be curious on the events of history? It's honestly sickening being around so many lies.
So, when they finally get to the investigation for the tunnels, which is literally 2.5 hours in, they start by walking around downtown, going into bars and asking people if they have heard of the tunnels. Almost everyone says no, but eventually they find someone who supports this preconceived notion, so of course that is the only data point that matters. For the record, this is not how an objective search for truth begins. I will give some credit that they do some actual footwork and go to the library and look for books on the tunnels. The only one they find is called Ghosts, Legends, and Folklore of Old Pensacola by Sandra Johnson and Leora Sutton. As one hint that maybe their reading comprehension isn't so great, they refer to Sandra and Leora as he. Watch what happens when the authors conclude that there probably aren't any tunnels.
The author in this book thinks that all these legends are just utterly ridiculous. That's what it is. It's just a skeptic's attempt to explain it all. He makes it clear that he's not willing to believe these legends until there's actual proof. Okay, yet you never provided any proof that they don't exist.
My dude, when you are dismissing the authors of Ghosts, Legends, and Folklore as skeptics, you have lost the plot. They also get mad when a section about the Goon of Guillemard, something they are clearly learning about in real time, isn't as credulous as they want it to be.
The sad thing is that with every one of these legends, the author comes in is like trying to actively debunk every one. Or you're just gonna label everything you don't like as some type of made-up story. Conveniently, this is how fake historians treat the subject.
They are ride or die for this cryptid that they just learned about. Ultimately, Mind Unveiled is not interested in history. They are certainly not looking for truth. They are after an interesting story. And that story is only ever allowed to escalate. Any source that adds more supernatural or cryptozoological elements is a priori true and above scrutiny. Any source that casts doubt or provides a logical explanation is just a brainwashed skeptic or part of the cover-up. They approach with a preconceived conclusion, which is exactly what they accuse mainstream historians of doing, and will only consider whatever they believe supports that. So let's look at some of the kinds of things they say are evidence for the existence of secret tunnels. Number one, people who say they remember something about tunnels, maybe a family story or second or third-hand testimony. In other words,
well, Your Honor, we've got plenty of hearsay and conjecture. Those are kinds of evidence.
Number two, some old photos show tunnel-like structures. The most common example is the Innerarity building that was part of the Panton-Leslie complex on Pensacola Bay, which appears to have some kind of tunnel-like entrance on the water. The Johnson-Sutton book says that was added to the building by Dr. James Herron for his hospital patients, and Leora Sutton would probably know better than anyone because she led the archaeological excavations into those ruins. But here's a photo from another angle. And here's what it looked like as it was depicted on the 1885 Welga map. To me, it seems more likely a storage shed, but even if it was a basement extension to the water, that's not the kind of tunnel we're looking for, right? Another photo shown multiple times in the video has these trenches along Palafox Street. These look like a drainage ditch to me. Wouldn't a tunnel, sort of by definition, not be open at the top? evidence number 3. Old Pensacola newspapers refer to tunnels. And they really toss everything at the wall here, including when tunnels or secret passages are mentioned in nationally syndicated comic strips like Boob McNutt. But here they have a smoking gun. Because in 1967, the Journal reported that Sacred Heart Hospital would connect to a new children's hospital via an underground tunnel. They assumed this means the old 12th Avenue Hospital would connect to a children's hospital on 9th Avenue, meaning a miles-long underground tunnel. Which, I mean, why? Why? There are roads. But again, reading comprehension isn't their strong suit because it's clear in the article that the children's hospital is being established in the former nursing school building that had been built just a few years earlier adjacent to the new hospital. This tunnel is connecting 2 adjacent buildings. And look, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this important piece of evidence they discovered.
This is even referenced in Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. It has a lot of truth into it. But one of the things mentioned is that beneath this old world mansion were these Civil War underground tunnels. Same things mentioned in this newspaper article. Only thing is, what if this is just a cover-up?
Jinkies, gang. It really makes you think. So here's where I need to reveal what most Pensacola people probably wouldn't know unless they watched the entire 5-hour video, the raison d'etre for its existence. See, the reason Mind Unveiled, the channel, has so many subscribers is they are considered one of the main proponents of the Tartarian Empire theory, what may be the most nonsensical conspiracy theory ever devised. See, in a lot of old maps, a big swath of Central Asia and Siberia, a part of the world that European map makers knew little about, as you can probably tell from this terrible map, is labeled by the toponym Tartary, or Tartaria, a nation that never existed. But what this theory presupposes is, maybe it did. And maybe it had technology beyond imagination before it mysteriously vanished, kind of like a Russian Atlantis. Some proponents believe that Tartaria not only spanned much of Asia, but the entire globe, and that the ruins of their civilization, partially covered by an enormous mud flood or other cataclysm, were discovered by European settlers when they explored the Americas. That's where the conspiracy comes in, because the Europeans and Americans reclaimed these buildings, they renovated them, but they had to hide the fact that they didn't actually build them. After a reset, secret societies like the Oddfellows and Freemasons would repopulate these empty cities with orphans.
Manned entirely by orphans.
Who were brainwashed not to know any of the true history. So here's another clip.
The only history that these orphans in Pensacola knew is Scaligerian history, or Jesuit Catholic timelines created by the Knights, or secret societies controlling the new reset.
The Rand Corporation, in conjunction with the Saucer People, are forcing our parents to go to bed early in a fiendish plot to eliminate the meal of dinner. We're through the looking glass here, people.
Okay, I added the last bit. So there's really no limit to what they don't consider ancient Tartarian buildings. Anything they find especially large and impressive. They are obsessed with star forts, i.e. bastion-style forts, thinking that the geometric shapes were used to harness mystical energy frequencies or something. They think these are just leftovers of even larger star-like structures, and I don't even have time to go into all the problems with these labels that are on here. But in this fantasy world, there's really no limit to the scale. At one point, the Mind Unveiled uses a fancifully decorated 1540 map to suggest that a Tartarian megacity once covered the Gulf Coast.
It seems that this castle is over in New Orleans, Biloxi, Mobile, and Pensacola, as if it was just one giant fortress.
Yeah. They say that Manuel Gonzalez's residence, known as 15 Mile House because it was 15 miles away from Pensacola, much like 9 Mile Road is 9 miles away, was actually 15 miles in size. Tartaria believers also claim more modern buildings in their pseudo-history, pretty much anything with ornate or classical elements. The World's Fair in Chicago, New York's Penn Station, the U.S. Capitol building, all possibly part of the ancient Tartarian Empire. These are not serious people. But that's why the Mind Unveiled video fixates about Pensacola buildings like the San Carlos Hotel, the Thiessen Building, the Blunt Building, the First National Bank Building, the Pensacola Museum of History, the Old Opera House, the Cultural Center, and many more. They question when they were built and why there aren't more construction photos. And if construction photos exist, those can be dismissed as doctored, all part of the cover-up.
There's not one construction photo to when this history museum was constructed. You'd think that they would be showing all sorts of construction photos. The Blount building has like one old photograph of construction. Okay, what if I asked if it was doctored? They had compositing techniques since the dawn of photography. In other words, Photoshop. We should have hundreds, if not thousands, of construction photos of this entire process, but that's just not what we're left with.
It's worth noting that pretty much all their research begins and ends with Google. Often they don't even make it to the linked articles, they just screenshot the summary at the top of the results. At one point, they searched for a place on Tarragona Street from the 1800s called Old City Hotel. For reasons that are probably obvious, Googling the query Pensacola Old City Hotel brings up results for the San Carlos. But for them, it's evidence that the San Carlos was the Old City Hotel from the 1800s. Here's a secret. Historical documents, like photos, don't just magically appear on Google. First, someone has to take the photo. Before we were all equipped with these portable instant photo studios with essentially unlimited capacity, that meant lugging around a hefty camera and both providing and developing the film, things that cost time and money. For photos to survive to the present, someone had to have the forethought of preserving it. Paper prints are easily ruined by moisture. Glass plate and film negatives have a lot of challenges for long-term storage, and often the photographers just didn't keep them. It's really a miracle that photography has survived to the present. But assuming a photo survives, someone has to scan it for it to be digitally available. Someone has to provide descriptions or other metadata for Google to read and link it to search queries. And then someone has to host the website where this data lives. And for a lot of the things that Mind Unveiled talks about, that website is Pensapedia, which I founded, and the hosting of which I have paid for since 2006, purely as a labor of love. The Pensapedia articles they show were mostly written by me, so, you know, you're welcome. But my main point is that there are a lot of historical resources which are not going to come up in a 2-second Google search. For example, I am a big fan of Sanborn fire insurance maps. We have maps for Pensacola from 1884 into the mid-1900s. So we can see the time before these buildings existed, we can see after they're built, we can see all these steps in between. And would you look at that, it matches all the mainstream narrative. Seems pretty straightforward to me, but I suppose a Tartarian believer would say that the Sanborn Company created these maps not to keep track of insurable assets, but to create false records, showing these buildings weren't standing in 1884, so that they could pretend to build them 20 years later, all to deceive future generations. Because of course the people living in that time would see the buildings. Likewise for all these other images of 19th century Pensacola. Or let's rewind this rich fiction back to 1559. According to the Tartarian story, when Tristan de Luna pulled into Pensacola Bay for the first time, Fort Pickens was already there. Fort Barrancas was already there. The Pensacola Museum of History, the San Carlos Hotel, maybe even Seville Tower, they were all standing. Seems pretty odd to me that Luna would skip all this free real estate and go and set up a colony on Emmanuel Point way over in East Pensacola Heights. If nothing else, it would have been helpful to use all these massive buildings to store his supplies instead of keeping him on the ships that got wrecked in the hurricane. But what do I know? Before we move on, I'll let Mind Unveiled explain this whole thing in their own words, slightly edited by me and compressed for time and comedic effect.
So these early druids, who did contain the negative Rh trait, came to America and united with the local Aboriginal Moorish and Phoenicians, then became the Venetians. They went crazy. Pope Maximilian, because they realized that the Ark of the Covenant can destroy these religious cults cities, got a hold of ancient tech and magic that allowed them to create conscious cataclysms. Jews and the Black Royal Huguenots that came into Americas. The Spanish and the Roman Jesuits cannibals came in, and they were also known to be giants. They had to hide underground with the ant people, those who lived in the tunnels underground. So these natives were living in the stuff of fairy tales. So they sent their best ancestry to the Spanish Moors and start repopulating old world cities such as Pensacola, and these were all newly renovated cities. As much architecture as possible to erase any evidence of an advanced culture. Fake streets over the remains of the city below. Just like Futurama, right below our feet on Palafox is the old city of Pensacola.
All right, buddy, I'm going to cut you off there. I think you've had enough. It's fitting that they end with a Futurama reference because throughout this whole thing, their logical somersaults kept reminding me of this scene.
Those women you saw me with were my accountants.
Your accountants? Oh, I would dearly love to believe that were true. So I do.
But anyway, QED, I guess. In the book, A Culture of Conspiracy, Michael Barkin lays out 3 principles found in virtually every conspiracy theory. 1, nothing happens by accident. 2, nothing is as it seems. And 3, everything is connected. Tartaria certainly adheres to these criteria. But why do people believe these things? Let's go down the list and interrogate what makes them attractive to certain people. And that includes very smart people. Number 1, nothing happens by accident. In other words, intentionality. Humans are very good at finding patterns in things and looking for agency in a seemingly random universe. There's an evolutionary mechanism here. If you're able to detect hostile agents in your surroundings, the sound of footsteps, the symmetry of a predator's eyes hiding in the bushes, you have a better chance of survival. But because we're wired that way, it's easy for us to perceive patterns that aren't really there. That's a phenomenon called apophenia. Number 2, nothing is as it seems. Only the select few are able to pierce the veil and see the truth. That is very flattering to a conspiracy theorist because it means they possess secret knowledge. They're not NPCs or sheeple. They're important. And it sets up a duality between their in-group and a sinister out-group, which I'll talk about in a bit. Number 3, everything is connected, which means there are symbols, clues that you can piece together to solve the mystery. It's like a game, and games are fun. There's another word for using secret knowledge to read clues, to perceive the intentions of a powerful, unseen agent, and that's divination. Conspiracy theorists see themselves as modern-day oracles. Instead of reading tea leaves or entrails, they decipher patterns in the modern world. They are the priests of a secular society. In a really excellent video by YouTuber ContraPoints, aka Natalie Wynn, she says that conspiracism is pre-modern thinking applied to postmodern politics. In other words, it's a matter of faith. And it's not particularly original to compare conspiracism to religious dogma, but I think it helps to think about what it means to believe something. So let's take a quick detour into epistemology. Most of the beliefs that we hold on a day-to-day basis are automatic, background, dispositional. They are so informed by our daily existence and reinforced through consistent experience that we don't even think about them. I believe that 2 + 2 is 4. I believe that the sun will set later today and it will rise tomorrow morning. I believe that when I swing my feet out over the bed, put on the floor, I can stand up and ambulate myself into the bathroom for my morning routine. These are just automatic things that I believe. But let's compare dispositional beliefs to ones that are more theoretical. I have a dispositional belief in gravity, that if something gets knocked off a table, I'm going to automatically try to catch it, reach down. I don't need to wait and see what will happen. My dogs have the same belief in gravity. If I'm eating and food falls off my fork, even if it lands on my plate, they are looking on the ground to see if it has fallen there. They understand gravity at that level. But I also have a belief in gravity that is not intuitive or observable, but rather a framework informed by my understanding of science. That gravity is a fundamental force attracting all objects with matter relative to their proximity with one another. That's what keeps me on the ground, that the much larger mass of the Earth is pulling me towards it. There are some people, known as flat earthers, whoops. Sorry, I'm ahead of my slides. You guys got to tell me. There are some people known as flat earthers who do not share this belief in gravity. Their framework for understanding why we experience a downward acceleration is different from my own. But both of us are reflecting things that we have been taught. These are not dispositional beliefs for either of us. They are things we have chosen to accept. And I've already ruined the joke, but we're going to call this, for the sake of this discussion, credences. And epistemologists, don't at me. The distinction between these credences comes from 1, critical evaluation, and 2, social identity. Critical evaluation means looking at the available data, weighing the strengths and weaknesses of the evidence, and using reason to reach a conclusion. Social identity plays a huge role, not just in conspiracy circles, but in every other kind of credence. We perform beliefs to endear ourselves to our in-group, and that itself is not a bad thing, even if it gets dismissed sometimes under the banner of virtue signaling. Everybody does this. Both of these are examples of signaling to someone's in-group. Between the two factors, critical evaluation and social identity, one of them is stronger, and it's really not even close. Like with fundamentalist religious dogmas, adherents to conspiracy theories are immune to contrary evidence as long as their sense of self is defined by their group identity. I'm sure if the people behind Mind Unveiled watched this talk with all the data I presented on why the Pensacola tunnels are fake and why the Tartaria conspiracy theory is silly, they would probably not change their beliefs in any way. And that's because performing a belief in conspiracy theories is what's called costly signaling. You are declaring your loyalty to the in-group by sabotaging social acceptance outside of that in-group, alienating the normies, inviting ridicule. That strengthens group cohesion within conspiracist circles, but it makes it even harder to sever those ties through critical evaluation. That's why it's so hard for people who are sucked into conspiracy theories to get out. And who do they see as this in-group? Well, it's more understandable than I think we might assume. Skeptics, freethinkers, people who question authority, contrarians. Probably most everyone here thinks of themselves in that way to some extent. And they see their enemies broadly as the elites, though the precise identity of those elites varies from conspiracy to conspiracy. The suspicion of government and the powerful has a long and proud intellectual tradition in U.S. politics, which Richard Hofstadter called, quote, an arena for angry minds since the American Revolution. The problem, to quote Joan Westenberg, is that radicalized skepticism can collapse into cynicism. Every official statement becomes suspect, every institution corrupt, every denial confirmation. And that way lies brain rot. One of the big questions people have about conspiracy theories is, deep down, do these people really believe this stuff? We could look at behavior. For example, if Tartarians really believe there's just a layer of mud separating us and these vast lost cities, why aren't they out there like all the time with a shovel digging away? But behavior isn't really a good indicator of a deeply held belief. Humans are very capable of holding contradictory beliefs at the same time. We just compartmentalize them. Children who believe Santa Claus is watching them still misbehave. Christians who believe in an all-knowing, all-seeing God still commit sins. Or think of afterlife credences. Many people sincerely believe that their souls will be eternally reunited with loved ones after their deaths. That doesn't stop them from mourning when the loved one passes away. Conversely, I wouldn't say that I have a strong belief in an afterlife, but at the end of Les Miserables, when Valjean is dying and he sees Fantine, I'm going to be crying like a little baby. My behavior doesn't match my credence. It's the same with conspiracy theorists. I don't doubt that the people who follow QAnon feel strongly about protecting children from trafficking and exploitation. They just don't process the contradiction with supporting a politician who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Neil Van Leeuwen talks about how credences are sacralized imaginings, occupying a similar cognitive role as playing make-believe. Again, conspiracies can be fun. I used to like reading the Time Life Mysteries of the Unknown book series, or reading the Fortean Times, or watching the X-Files. It can be fun. It's like an alternate reality game where you are pitted against sinister demonic forces for the fate of the world 1 minute and then laughing with your coworkers the next. But while Tartaria can seem silly and relatively benign in the grand scheme of things, conspiracy theories are harmful in many ways. And not just when someone with an assault rifle goes into a neighborhood pizza pub demanding to know where the kidnapped children are having their adrenochrome harvested. It's important that we are able to agree on a baseline layer of objective facts. There is a real danger in a post-truth, choose-your-own-reality world, and technology and cynicism have accelerated the rise of conspiratorial thinking. We are all tethered at all times to devices that can summon whatever information we ask for. This has led some people to believe that they can achieve expertise in any field just by, quote, doing their own research. And social media platforms chase engagement and ad dollars by keeping people in algorithmic echo chambers that can radicalize people and steer them towards fringe beliefs. Conspiracy theories tell a story of world governments that are compromised and corrupted. And during the pandemic, that story became more believable because we all witnessed the failure of systems that should have done more to protect people. In a cynical world, people stop hoping for real solutions. They just revert to scapegoating. Instead of recognizing, for example, that wildfires are a predictable consequence of a warming planet, some people might blame them on Jewish space lasers. I find it quite scary that our current government is full of conspiracy theorists at the highest level who embrace whatever outlandish claims that conform to their preconceptions while rejecting any data they perceive as negative. It's scary that so many people have embraced these conspiracy theories as well. And at the risk of sounding conspiratorial myself, I think this is the result of deliberate efforts. Authoritarians have long known the benefits of erasing the line between fact and fiction, what Hannah Arendt called defactualization. By flooding the zone with misinformation, people become conditioned to think that there's no way of knowing the truth. So both versions of reality are equally valid. And in this kind of environment, the unscrupulous and corrupt will have an advantage, what's known as the liar's dividend. So we may not be able to do anything to disabuse people from conspiracy theories or other toxic beliefs tied to their social identity, but we can look out for each other, and we can commit ourselves to the UU fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, emphasis on responsible. We all come from different faith backgrounds and different perspectives on the mysteries of the universe. I probably won't agree with everyone here on a lot of credences, spiritual or otherwise, but we can approach that search with open hearts, rational brains, and humility. Sometimes humility seems like a self-defeating cause because, like the tolerance paradox, the other side certainly isn't going to be practicing humility. But we can be humble with ourselves. So I'll leave you with this quote from Richard Feynman. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, let's have the choir come up and the musicians, and we have a really fun song that we picked out today. The words will be up here for you, but you know, it's a really guttural song, so you just go with the flow and probably should stand if you feel like it, right? I think it's a good song to stand and sway to.
Sorry.
responsive reading, and I was going to skip it because I know we're late, but it's a really good one. So if you can reach and get this hymnal quick, it's 657. I know, I'm sorry, but I do think it's a good closing thing to read quickly, and then we can get sweets and treats and fellowship. Okay, 657. You guys read the italicized part. This is titled, It Matters What We Believe. Okay. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged.
Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way to wider and deeper sympathies.
Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities.
Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness.
Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction.
Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world.
Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
All right, let that marinate on your way out. Thank you so much. We love you. Go in peace.